due to the demands of the audience and because it's actually a pretty neat game, we are going to play Sonic 2 X Large instead. For those unfamiliar with Sonic 2 X Large, it is basically a sprite and program hack which makes Sonic fatter and fatter the more rings he comes into contact with. This is made troublesome by the fact that Tails has some sort of disgusting fat fetish. Which means that he will literally go out of his way to ensure that Sonic gets as many rings shoved into his fat face as possible. You can't actually play without Tails in Sonic 2 X Large. No, it's impossible. It's actually part of the sprite hack.
I don't think you could play without Tails in the original Sonic 2, could you? That was always the little sister.
Yeah, in some versions you could.
Position.
But, oh, yes, well, this is basically how Sonic ends up. And then he suffers a fatal heart attack and dies. And apparently we have some requests to make the game look better, so I suppose we can. The question is then what particular version we are going to play. Actually, nah, let's not. I prefer this original semi-shitty graphics. And as you might have witnessed there, that is the basic problem of this particular sprite hack. Tails will grab rings, since his AI is programmed to grab rings when possible. What this means for you is that you will turn fatter and fatter due to that stupid bastard. Which does not help you much. Now, once Sonic has become suitably fat, he is slowed down. However, it is possible to lose weight by running, which means that if you happen to pick up quite a few too many rings, the only solution is to run a few laps. However, being fat comes with its own pros, because it gives access to various special attacks, which will let Sonic basically behave like a giant rolling ball of death. Of course, it also means that he has trouble navigating a normal hill, which means that getting anywhere on the stage becomes incredibly difficult. As can be witnessed here by me just trying to gain enough speed to get up a bloody hill.
Has anyone actually beat the game?
Sonic 2 X Large? I honestly have no idea. I would honestly doubt it though. Oh well, I mean, I'm sure there's someone somewhere. But as with all ROM hacks, there is always some madman who spends most of his time just doing exactly that. So fat. Stop picking up rings, Tails. Yeah, basically, you have to do some really creative jumping and dodging to actually avoid the number of rings that will fatten you up too much. And it doesn't really help that I'm terrible at Sonic as well, so... No, Sonic, that's the wrong direction. We're going this way. Oh dear. Take that, Robotnik. Oh, Lumberjack, you have no idea. You have no idea. It is entirely possible to be terrible at Sonic, and I am. As I've tried to reiterate several times during these streams, I am pretty much terrible at video games in general. As I explained to Sudden Javelin last week, I'm good at video games that aren't video games, but the moment the video game is a video game, I'm terrible at it. Get away from me, rings. What is interesting though is that the creator of this particular ROM hack was smart enough to make it so that the heavier Sonic gets, the more gravity affects him, which means that you fall faster and you cannot jump quite as far, since you are, well, heavier. What this also does mean is that there are some areas that become more or less inaccessible due to your, well, horrible, fat, ugly carcass. Like, say, this perfectly ordinary hill. Or just getting past one of those bloody TV screens because I can't actually jump high enough to get on it. So we run a few laps and get some weight loss going. There we go. Yeah! Six-pack, baby. Alright, we've reached the first Robotnik fight, and the Robotnik fights are unchanged, so this is basically standard procedure. What was that about not being possible to be terrible at Sonic again? Suicide attack! Right! That was the first level of Sonic 2 X Large. Oh, wait. We have to... It's traditional to do the fall-off animation.
I'm kind of disappointed Sonic didn't eat all the little bunnies and squirrelies and such.
Yeah, I was originally as well. Now, a quick caveat here. I haven't actually never made it past this level playing Sonic 2 XL. And I most likely won't, because there are just way too many necessary rings here. And jumping puzzles that become, well, more or less physically impossible because you can't actually jump high enough to get off. Yeah. And here we see the fat Sonic roll in action, which basically consists of him rolling. And if you roll for too long, Sonic suffers a headache. Because he's fat. And fat people get headaches. Come on. Oh, there we go. Tails' magical trick is that he has created a device that connects Sonic's stomach to his own mouth, which means that no matter how much Tails eats, Sonic is the one that gets fatter. It is basically the most sinister invention ever. Oh, hey. Checkpoint. Useful. And now we see Fat Sonic spinning around in a tube, and that is basically the most hilarious thing this stream will provide you. No, wait, actually, Super Fat Sonic making repeated somersaults is probably the most hilarious thing you will see during this stream. Right. But as most viewers probably understand, since gathering rings is your... well, it's basically a Sonic reflex because it keeps you alive and gives you extra lives. Switching to never picking up rings at all, if at all possible, is, well... yes. Sonic 2 X Large, everyone. Yes, Sega. Quite.